Good afternoon, students. Today we will see the remaining topics of these last two topics of software-oriented architecture, which is the grid services under ogse and other services which are used for under these architectures and systems. So far we covered REST and what are the services we are using, what is the difference between the service and web service, and why we use the multi-tier architecture while developing or while dealing with any presentation or any deployment or any type of the work. Why we need to use the multi-tier architectures, so that we can divide the work among the servers what we are using there. We have the web server for web services, and for the middleware or the application dependent one we are using application server, and for the data storage we are dividing the work into the multiple, that is a file server and the database server represented. So today we will see what are the grid services and ogse. You know what is a grid represented here, we are using multiple things or the multiple nodes to be working on a same environment, or you can say same application. So whenever we are discussing about the grid, I told you to just to remember the matrix formation, any formation which could be like you can say one by one matrix is the, and you can use the 2 by 2 matrix or any and so on up to you can how many you can use as a n by n matrix can be represented. So why we are choosing this type of the representations here is, if you choose there a 1 by 1 matrix means you know that there is a one row and one column representation. So there could be how many systems? One row and one column means one block only. So one block will be represented here. So that could be, here is a one node or the one simple representation. I am representing node as a n. And coming to the next one, 2 by 2 matrix, you are having the 2 rows and 2 columns. So 2 rows and 2 columns means you will have 4 nodes. And what these 4 nodes are representing here is 2 systems, means the row, first row, that is first row 1R is represented as one working area, or you can say them as a one application oriented one. So they are connected to that one. So one row is consist of how many systems? It is having 2 systems here. So 2 systems individually it is specifying these things to be done. So here what it is specifying, one row is having 2 nodes individually, and they are working on different areas, means they are working on different applications, or you can say different task also. You can represent any type of the indication here. So what it is specifying here is, we are taking how many rows? 2 by 2 matrix is there. If you are considering that one, is taking 2 rows and 2 columns, 4 nodes will be there. One row, if I am taking one row, what it is consist of? It is consisting of the 2 nodes. And what these 2 nodes are, each are means what you are specifying, each row will have individual task, individual on different tasks. So here, how could be it possible? The question arises there. How could be it possible means, we discussed about some concepts called GPU. If you remember, in first unit we have covered graphical processing unit. If you consider a graphical processing unit, it is specified as a massive parallelism programming unit, MPPU. Massive, M stands for massive parallelism programming unit. Why it is taken as a massive means, if you are taking 1 by 1, 2 by 2, 3 by 3, 10 by 10 or also 20 by 20, all these things what you are taking. So here you are working with the two systems only. If I am going with the matrix 10 by 10, so what could happen there? So if it is like that, I will have 10 rows and 10 columns, 10 rows and 10 columns, and one row consists of how many nodes? 10 nodes. So for representatively, how many systems it is taking into work are 100 nodes. These 100 nodes will belong to a common environment called grid. Okay, if you see first one node, 4 nodes or n nodes or anything, they are prescribed or the specified as a grid here. Why so we are using this type of processing, why we are including grid here is, so we are taking multiple systems to be work on a different task, and we are making them to be work on individually, and they are taking the care of these things to be done. If you are taking LAN connection or anything, any representations, what it is doing is, it is not connecting 100 nodes to a switch or the 100 nodes to a network connection. What it is doing? It is taking a matrix type formation, means it is dividing level by level, it is dividing. So first it is taking, let me explain. So first main switch or the main network or connection oriented will be there, and it is splitted into how many how many rows we are having? We are having 10 rows. So what it is taking? It is taking 10 different operators, or the operatings has to be available with this one, because they need to care of 10 nodes which are allotted to that one each, okay. So by this, what is the advantage here? You will dividing the work. What is the advantage here? So the first one is there is no pressurizing, or you are balancing workload. What you are doing is being balanced here between how many you are using here. We are using 10 different operators, or the 10 different switches, or 10 different look afters we are using, and they are being looked after by the first one, that is the main one. So by that, one person looking after the 100 that is nodes is a very risky procedure, because he needs to be cautious. He should know what is happening into that one. They should know all these things into them. So what have to do? We need to split up the work. So how I am going to split this one, how I am going to process this one, means I am maintaining the network switches, or I am maintaining the servers which is being take caring of the some little or the you can specify only the things what you are using for that purpose only. Okay, and then what you are doing, we are taking these 10 to be look after another 10 nodes. So looking after the 10 switches will be easy to this main network. And if you come to individually, one switch is there. So first one switch, if you are considering what it is doing, or it is taking care of the only 10 nodes. Okay, so how many switches we are having? 10 switches. So individually, any hurdle or anything happens to any node, the thing here is has to look after their corresponding one. Means who will look after like corresponding one there. So that is what we are doing. We are splitting the monitoring here. Monitoring, comma, allocating the work allocation. You can say allocation of the work. And we are splitting also the storage. The storage has been given for that network. So I am between the one switch. One switch means what could be able to. It is having the one network 10 nodes. It is having and also it has to take care of the storage, what it is happening, and also it has to take care of the network connections, what it is doing. Okay, and what are the IO devices we are using for that one. So and so far whatever the things we are using for processing should be considered by the switch. So here we are splitting the monitoring, allocation, storages, and also you can specify resources also given to them. So by that what it is happening here, There is no need to worry about these things by the main one. That is the who is looking after that one, main network, or you can specify main server or the main network switch, or any representation which has been taken into the consideration will be splitting. Why we are taking into the splitting into the consideration here? The main thing is we need to monitor, allocate, and then next storage, and then next resources, whatever it is, and we need to take care of the connections also, network connections. All these things will come into mind when we are dealing with the computations, which is the parallelism, and also you can specify it as that is which is a net oriented one, network oriented one. So all this has to be happen, and we should not pressurize a person, or we should not pressurize a means a team or any other to take care of all these things by your own way, not like that. What you have to do, we need to specify, we need to give these things to be done in a proper manner. That's why what we are taking these to be handled by the many work. So here we are taking the network switches into an account, and they are having their own control. The control will be with them, and also they will have their ALU also. If you specify, that is the control comma, and then what is that? You can specify ALU for processing. So that's why I'm taking this GPU as an example. Massive parallelism programming unit wise. So here is we are using 100 nodes or the 100 systems to process this one. So how many systems it will process here is, we can take many, because each and everything will be executed as a thread. All these concepts has been covered. 1032 threads will be executed on a single process. What it is doing, I am discussing only 100. What it is using, it is using more than 1000. So more than 1000 will be used to process on a thread. So how it is going to use this one is because it is having its cores. What are the cores it is using? CUDA. CUDA cores are there. So here the CUDA cores will look after all these things, because the CUDA cores, it is having its own processor. If you see, it is having its own processor. So the processor will have the processing ALUs, and then next it is having its result analysis, result storage, queues will be there. All these things will be considered. So that's why we are using the CPU. Likewise, we are also having the one type of the concept which is supported by us, which is called as a grid. So here the grid means you are considering, it is if you look after grid can be considered as a cluster, because it is having, it is means it is taking all these things into behavior, that is same behavior things will be taken and is forming a group of the things, and it is being used processing like that. And in this grid we are discussing today what are the grid services and what is the importance of the OGSA. So here what is this OGSA is represented here is, this is the Open Grid Services Architecture. So I'm clearing this thing. So OGSE, this was developed with the working group of Global Grid Forum, which has been renamed to Open Grid Forum of which has been used by the Enterprise Grid Alliance. You can simply say them as OGF or the EGA, which has been done in 2006. So here this is completely a service oriented architecture. Why it is here is, we need to define, or we need to concentrate on the service what we are providing. What is the service oriented architecture? Simply we will say we need to concentrate on the outcome only. Outcome here means what is for you are designing this one. You are designing a program. So the program you are designing means what is the problem statement is stating you has to be included in your program. You won't include another things or all these things. You want to make it as a possible, you want to take many steps to be included, that is up to you. But the main thing for this one is we need to include, or we need to add these things to be done here. Why this is OGSA has been described here. Here in this previous session we described enterprise multi-tier architecture. There we are using multi-tier architectures to be processed here. This OGSA is also supporting the multi-tier architecture and also taking the service-oriented architecture to be into an account for middleware middleware, because we are making the environments which are not available with us to others, because we are taking into an account that large scale environments will be make these computing resources to use this web services. That's why what it is doing, it is maintaining the middleware environment also for this. So what is this middleware? So here we don't have the possibility of extracting the information or the deploying our information into the another environment. If your grid, or if you are connected to the another environment and the grid applications has been developed in another environment, what it is allowing is it is taking these OGSA, that is a middleware, into an account. Through these web services you can take this middleware into an account, and it is allowing to take the benefits of accessing the applications. If you see this if you see the coming diagrammatical representation, then you come to know what it is representing. So see here. So how far we are connected to the applications, from the downwards we need to work on it. So we need to access the web service, and then next what we are doing, we are allocated to use the application. So if you don't have the web application to be available with you, or the web is not available with you, it is not allowing to access that one. So that's why what it is doing, web services, it is available, and it is allowing to take these things to be done uh, in in a middleware, and we are having a representation, that is the OGSI, which is called as the Open Grid Services Infrastructure. So here how it is formed, how why we are using such type of the representations here is, when we are dealing with a grid, if you want to take, or if you want to implement a grid service on one or more interfaces. One or more interfaces means, one interface means to access my any application, I need to click on the icon which has been developed. So if you install any programming environment or any software, at the last it is asking you want to add this icon, or you want to this thing to the startup menu or the desktop, it will ask. Why so? Here it makes you available to not to search, and if you go for the menu, or if you go for your desktop, you while clicking on that one, it is opening that environment here, means it is getting into that environment, and it is not creating multiple interfaces here. When you are installing an application, or when you are installing any software, any app also, what it is doing, it is allowing to take, or it allowing to do only one interface here. It is not giving multiple interfaces here. Why it is providing multiple interfaces here is because each interface which you are requesting, or what you are processing, will define a set of operations which has to be invoking by exchanging, you can say, messages which has been exchanging between the others, you can specify. So here these services, this type of the interfaces will make you to take these things to be happen by others, and they can use any service, or they can use any type of the specifications which is not being supported by your environment. For example, you have one file, and then sometimes when you are trying to open that file, what it is specifying, it is doing that the supportive file, the supportive type is not with you. It is not with you. Then what you will do, you will go for the Play Store, or you will go for the that is Google, you will search for the software, you will search for the app, you will install, you will get the access on your laptop or the phone there itself. So here what it is providing is, it is providing an environment, that is middleware environment, in which it is making you capable of accessing the services provided by these great applications, and also maintaining these things to be done in a way that you can have the global access of this one, because we need to take these things to be done in a standard format. Why we are using a standard format here? So what is the standard format here representing here is, we no need to develop the applications based on your ourselves, because if you want to make these things use has to be used by the others, they need to be in a standard format. Means it's not be a platform dependent one, or it should not be, you can specify that any operating system or any application or any do, it's not be dependent on anything. If any person want to access that application means the software or a app what you are downloading, or simply any representation what you are supporting, what it has to do is, it need to support to be accessed by the others, which are means who are being connected from different environment also. That's why it is maintaining a middleware, and we need to construct a build from these standard components here, standard based components. So these standard based components are specified as a grid services. These are the things what you are having: data service, self-management service, information services, and the remaining all these things has to be specified, has to be done through these OGSA, which are indeed specified as the grid services. If you see, there are the 7 different such areas we are working with that one. So first one, these services in that one, I'm going to explain about infrastructure service. So what is this infrastructure service here is, it is completely based on the infrastructures what you are using for that one. Means the functionalities of the application, and then the naming of the application, the requirements what you are chosen for this working of the application has to be added to that infrastructure. We are all means all the time infrastructure means it should be not a physically oriented one, means nodes, that is storage devices, all these things are discouraged. All these things are not only for infrastructure. So what the infrastructure here is, we are dealing with application. So here the application means we need to know what are the functioning of the application, for what it has been designed. Okay, so you are using guts. So here in previous from, if you see for past 2 years, there are not some things has not been added to that application. Today we are seeing the payment methods, and we are adding some stickers, and we are specifying some status, adding the groups. Group call can be added for more than 8 persons, and it is making things to be, so that is recipients are there, these not been added. All these things will come into an account when we are upgrading to that one. So you are upgrading to that system. You are upgrading to that system means, if you are upgrading that system, you need some things to support that one. Simply you are upgrading the system with the things what you are already having with you, means it's not been supported for a long time. Means what you are doing, you are adding something to your application. What it has to do, you need to make the things to be available with that thing. So here, that like that situations, what it is doing is, it is making the functionalities, namings, and then next the common requirements what you are using for these things. Many, you can say high level services has to be handled by this infrastructure. And coming to the underneath one, which is the execution management service. So here, this is completely about the execution. Execution means to start a task and to process a task. Process means while monitoring, you need to monitor the task, we need to manage. Manage means you are sorry, you are executing a task. You are executing a task means what it is doing? It will use some resources to execute. Means, for example, you want to scan a copy of the data, and after that you will take the input from that scanned copy, and then next what you will do, you will process that one. If not, another one. Another example here is, sometimes you will write the programs that you need to write the you need to read the data from another file, and you are not mentioning that dynamic way. You are not mentioning, you are already giving the file name also there, and also you are specifying read the information from that one, and also it need to access that information. If it is a static also, dynamic also, the same way only. There we need to provision the resource there. What is the resource there? I need to provide a scanner, first example. In the second example, what I am taking, I need to read a file. How far I will read a file? I should have the access to that file. Okay, so that is in your environment, that is in your in your folder. By providing the location, what it is doing, it is making available here. When you dynamically providing the read this file, you need to give the location. Statically statically you are giving, you need to give the location there itself. Dynamically you are entering, then you will give the enter the file name, you will give the file name there. So there is no need to specify the file has to be here or like that. So if you want to give the location, entire location, it will be given. So why it is not accessing means there could be some reasons. Means you are not allowed to that area, that scanner is not available, scanner is not connected, scanner has been failed or something. Some things will be occur while processing. So here, while doing any type of the processing, what you have to do, you need to start a application. Start a task. Starting a task means what you have to do here, simply you have been started execution, you control F9, okay, done. So if you are doing execution continuously in the dynamic environment, what it has to do, it will wait for the resources there. So you want to add the two numbers, what it is asking, if you are statically given that one, there is no work with you, and it will be processed and it will execute. In dynamically, it is expecting something to be happen with means to be given with you by you. What it is doing, it is been waiting for your order. So when you are dealing with that one, give the two numbers. Give the name or give the scanner to be available, all these things to be done. So that's why we need to take the provision has to be handled by. So that's and also we need to take workflows has to be considered. So before going to execute, you must know what is the task you are processing. So what is the flow, data flow, workflow, and then next control flow. All these things has to be considered when you are dealing. Likewise, we need to concentrate on the workflows also. Why here? Why we need to concentrate on the workflow means your work will be easier at some point, and your work will be some difficult. There is a complex processing will be there. Means you need to process for it. So you need to take these life cycle of these things into an account also. So what are the iterations you are using? What are the processing? If you are connected to another environment, what it is doing? All these things has to be keep into mind when you are dealing with this one. And coming to the next one, data management services here. So the data management services, what it has to, this service indeed is, it is specifying, it is concentrating on the data, and what it is doing, it is providing data consistency and persistency, integrity, handling the issues by this thing what it is designed for. So here, and there is also one representation we are specifying, there is a to and fro here. If you see this diagrammatical representation where I am pointing, so there are arrow representation where it is having the to and fro. Means what it is here is, we can move the data based on your that is request. You are connected to a server, and then on this server, and you have the data which has been processed by this server. You want to access the data, but you connect it to this server. What it is doing is, it is maintaining the, you can specify the functionality of moving means completely the accessing, or the completely it has been stored to this one, or you can make the data what you are requested could be maintained a copy here, that is the replica will be maintained here, and you can ask for the some permissions, or can ask for the data or the files by using some queries, request and response processing. And also, for example, you want to take these data to be available with another format that is being designed in one format. You want to take the access into the another format. What it is doing, it has to take the privilege of transforming also. Okay, so what are the works it has to be done? By the request of the server, another server, it will be able to request, or that is move the data into to that server. If not, it must maintain a replica of that copies, and some queries has to be done. For example, one replica has been given to this one. Replica means copy paste has been given. Okay, so here I done some work and I updated some data. Okay, so I processed it and updation has been done to that file, that data. So what I have to do, the updations what it has been applied to this file has to be updated on this file also. Okay, so here I added or removed or anything which has been done by me on this server, on this file, has to be maintained, has to be updated on this server also. Okay, that's the thing. And what is the transforming? Next one is the transforming, means you want to data to be available with another representations. What are the formats you want? So what are the formats you will want here is, so it will be available with the many formats you are asking. So it will be making to take the task or the make the things what you are using on that one. Apart from this, what it is doing is, we need to concentrate on that one. That is three basic interfaces we need to specify well dealing with the data services. One is the data access. Who can access my data and how far can they can access my data? I am providing the accessibility. Okay, how far means they are being allowed to change, that is a modification, alterations are being allowed by that person or not. Okay, that's why what they are doing, they need to take care of the accessing. And then next, data factory. Factory is nothing but they need to store the large amounts of the data which has been processed or for any application or any organization. And coming to the last one, data management. Data management means the things what have been explained before has been coming to this management factors. Okay, and coming to the next one, resource management services here. So these are the resources we are having. So server, it is available, system, it is available. We are providing other type of the servers and the grid servers, rack of the servers, and we are making the application to be available here. So we need to take these resources has to be managed by themselves, and the resources what you are using in this thing has to be represented as a grid component, and we need to take these things to be updated or these been along with by these infrastructure what you are using. So what will be the work here? Likewise, in the data services here, we need to take care of the resources to be monitored. Means who are using the resources, are they allowed, or these things need to be considered. Reserving the resources means provisioning the resources means we need to access, there are many people who are accessing this ogse or any grid applications. What they need to do, they need to provide the resources not to be under one. What it has to do is nothing but they need to provide sufficient. So that's why what they have to, resources has to be reserved or the provision. They have to deploy the resources. New resources are requesting, you have purchased a resource and you did not deploy it in that environment, then there is no use of that one. And configure Configuring means you need to take these things to be done in a quality of the services requirements meeting way. So that's why what it is doing, it is making available things to be done here. And coming to the next one, security services here. So this one. So the security services, what it is doing, we are taking this environment to be available in virtual way. So here we need to take very cautious in resource sharing, data sharing, and also providing information also, all these things, because virtual environment and one server has been means shared with many. What they are doing is they are taking many people to access this one at the same time. So here by this one, what we are doing, we need to provide the resource sharing should be in a safe way, and we need to take authentication into an account. We need to authorize the people. We need to take the integration assurance into an account, and also we need to take some security services to be available with that one, because we are providing the data and the next things to be available with the others in this environment. That's why we need to consider all these things to be in a secured manner. So that's why we are taking security related policies. So here this one. So this is the policy. This is the policy means what you, how far you can do, or how far you can access, and what can be you have to be performed by you, like the do's and don'ts. Do's and don'ts will be there. So you are means performing with the good one. That is, you are only going with the do's. Then no problem here. If you are violating the policy, means the don'ts will be with you. If you are happening to perform any don't task, then what it is doing, if you are violating that one, they will take the action on you. Means they won't be allowed, or they need to take the legal actions or any representations which has been, means they will have some rules. If they if the means if you are committed one violation, the violation will decide what would be, has to be apply on you. Okay, so based on the violation, they will take the steps to be performed on you to for that violation. Okay. Next representation is the information service. So here in this information service, we are taking the accessing of these information, and it's available to these resources. The information has been stored in particular resources there. We are making this to be available for that one. We are not providing the data. We are not providing the data here. We are providing the what you say, that is the information. If you see software oriented architecture in previous session, some representations, or they we have been discussed that service oriented architecture is using one related formula. If you see what is the, so how far you are representing here is, we are taking the raw data. We are taking the raw data, and it is being converted to the data, and it is being converted to the information, and then knowledge, and then wisdom, and later you will be able to take the decisions. So the data is, what is considering the data means, it's not the required one you are choosing. From the data, we need to take only the information. What is the information, and what you are specifying here, info here is, so see here, I want to only access the processing here. So here what it is doing, I am maintaining some attendance of your information. So I want to take these attendance of only the 20th August. So 20th August only. So this is the data what have been stored. So when I am getting the this data, what it is doing, it is providing me the information about it. So how many are attended, what these attended, like this I will do. So here all these things will come into an account when we are dealing this thing. So here what we are doing, we are taking this to be available with that one. So this is the data I am accessing this thing. I am accessing this thing and I am getting the data of this. So what it is doing, it is allowing me to take the things to be done here in such a way. So I want to know how many classes which has been attended or processed by me. So what I have to do, I need to count that one. So what I am doing is I am maintaining a comment here. In August, I took 12 classes for this one. Okay. So daily one class is there. So I took that 12 classes here. So there is no need to count that one because I maintained a present. So this is not, I am not taking, this is the exact example, ma. So I want to know about the, what is the information about the taking the classes. How well I will know the, I need to collect the data there. How I am going to connect the data here? I need to take how many classes has been taken by me. So here it has been started from 13th August. So that from there I need to count on that one. So if I need to count on that one, so there will be little time to be done. So that's why what I am doing, I have been marked here that I took the 12 classes here. So what is the information here is 12. So here based on the 12, what I am doing, how many attended, how are they attending or not, I will take these things to be considered here. Okay. So likewise, what it is doing, it is making these information to be available with others. So here it is maintaining the data here and it is maintaining the information also, and it is taking with the some resources, constituent resources to be available. And coming to the last one, there is a self-management services. The self-management services, when you are dealing with this one, so likewise I told, the great applications has to take these components into the account that they has to be self-managed. Why they need to consider here is, we need to make them automation. Automation has to be done because we are making people to be available for this thing. Means I want to look after the services, means I need to be paid by them. I'm not simply make this services as a charity or anything, because I am appointed by them to look after the services. So what this OGA or the grid has to think here is, what could be the services that I can automate. Okay. So likewise, what it is doing, it is taking the only some services has to be automated. Why? Because what it is affecting here is, it is reducing the cost and also the complexity of the managing these things to be reduced here. And also we are making things to be automated, means I know, means I want to take these storage. I'm taking the storage into an account. I want to take the store my data or anything. So what it is doing, it is allocating some space to me only initially. I want to scale up my that is storage here. What I have to do, I need to raise a request. If any sector you are doing, anyone, if you want a work to be done, means what you have to do, you need to raise a request, you need to place an application. If that application will be processed, then you will be allowed to that due as that one, or to process or to take the privilege of what have been requested. And these things will be done in a automated way. So here there could be some point will be so they are being fixed a what you call some point to be a processor where you need to scale up your storage. So when you are reaching the storage into an end procedure, means if you are having 3 GB of the memory or the or some 10 GB of the memory, if you are reaching up to 9 or you have crossed 9, so they are means describing a limit to that one. When this person has been crossed this limit, then you auto scale your memory space and allocate some more space to that person. So this will be done by the cloud architectures what you are using also in auto scaling concept. So these are the services, these are the grid services which has been used in the OGSA, and they are attaining the services to be done in a manner that they are not to be used or they are not to be processed in such a way any auto scaling is done or any process. So here in the underneath we are having web services. So in this web services, the first one is the web service addressing, and the next one is the web service notification or the web service management is there. So here we are having the another one, web services resource framework. So here what we are doing, we are taking 5 different specifications to be available with this one and making these things to be done. So what are the 5 different specifications here? Coming to the next representation, these are the 5 different specifications. So the first one is the web service resource properties. Resource properties means what is the resource, what are the interfaces associated with resource, because we are creating more than one interface with that one. And also we need to take any messaging processing has been done, or the query or updations will be done. All these things will keep into mind when processing. And then next one, resource lifetime. So here we are taking life cycle of the resource, means the resource has been used by you. So how far you can use it, that thing, how long. So not how far, how long you can use that thing. So there the resource lifetime will be stored, that one. 90 days, 1000 days, or any representations will be there now. So based on the plan what you have chosen, it will be deciding that what is the lifetime of the resource. And the next one, service group. So here we are taking these web service resources to be available with the web services by taking this standardizing format into an account. Okay, making the services group means if you are getting the usage of the one service, then what are the related services to that means resource or anything will be available with you. Means you have been taken one resource, the other web services means related to that resource will come to available with you. And also base fault. So here any fault has been occurred or anything has been you are facing, it is maintaining or it is giving the things to be available by reporting that one. So when you are facing the fault, it generates a report and it will be given to the monitor who is there. Okay. And coming to the another related specifications, web service notification, which is having another one also, another 3 representations, base notification, brokered notification. Here the base notification means we need to take the roles of the things. Means, so for example, when you are dealing with the new one, it will means when you are entered into the new environment, it is allowing the some pop-ups. So take a tour or something, representations will be there. So what it is doing, it is making me like that, it is introducing you the environment. What are the important things you have been using in that one will be introduced to you by that one. So it is taking some notification messages to be processed in that one. So broken notifications means we are taking middleware here. So the middleware here is the code bar. Code bar representation, what it is acts as a agent which is been making the two things to be capable of processing. The application what you have been processed, what you have done will be taken into an account. Okay. And then next topics means what are the things you have been used in that one, what are the items in that subscriptions has been to be given in the notification. So when we are using any app or anything, you will have the future notifications. It has been like that. All these things will become. And coming to the next one, web service addressing. So here the web service has to be done. So that's why what it is doing is it is making the things to be available with us by using some mechanisms here. So these are the things we need to consider when we are processing. This is one of the OGSA architecture what we are using now. So OGSA has been specified, but it is been using notification, handle mapper, factory, manageability, registry, like UDDA registry, we are having the OGSA registry. What is the life cycle of that one? how we are discovering. Discovering means we will be given one name, then it will be giving the information about that one. So it is being divided. So see a database integration policy who is logging into that one. All these things will be processed. All these things will be coming to here. So here what are the environments we are using? These are the, so we are using Z series, IX, and then Linux, Windows, storage, Solaris, Linux. All these things will into account when we are dealing with them. So this is a one example of the registry. So registry means we need to uh, add the one application here. So we also adding one computation and also one database to that one. So first we need to take the registry into an account, and what it is doing is it is making the splitting, that it is connecting to the compute service provider and the database also. When you are requested, when you are requesting, you will have the time of that request. So within the time you have been connected, or the within the time it has been response has been given to you, then then your request has been processed. Then if not, you need to raise the request another time. Okay, your request has been not processed, or the timeout, service timed out, these things. When you are waiting for a longer time, you will have that messages there. Okay, when these things means, when it is found that you will have the ability to create, or the ability to process the applications here, or the create any database to that one, what it is doing is it is creating an instance to you to find the application. The application name is minor, and to whatever the application data will be, so has to be stored in the database here. Okay, and what we are doing, we are making these things to be available with the database service, and you are making the service to be available with many other people. So that's why we are taking database contents as many. Means I am not only the person who is using this one, many people will use this minor. So where many people will use this minor means they have to keep my data with me. So I have my own account, then what will do, they will keep my account. In example, I have shown one sheet there. So that sheet belongs to me. That sheet belongs to me means what I have to do there, I have to store, I have to take these things in my account there. So that's why what it is doing, it is allowing to take my privilege of accessing here to this my database here. My database has to be stored here. So that's why it is making these things to be available with the database. The database is having many elements here. So when you are processing, when you are requesting here, so how it is processing here. So when you are requesting for a database, the request will be processed to this database service, so which is having the n elements, and then it will be forwarded to this one, which is the database what it is connected. When it has been connected to that one, what it is doing, it is making this available here. Okay, so that is the one type of the representation we are using. Apart from this, we have another that is services we are choose means process here. These services, what your request or what your processor, are explained by the are given by the US DoD, that is Department of the Defense net-centric services. So here the services are enterprise service management, which are for the life cycle, and security, which is the information assurance here. So if we are dealing with the information, these four things we need to be considered: confidentiality, integrity, availability, and reliability. If we are dealing with the messaging, we need to take the publish, subscribe, important here. So likewise, discovery, meditation, storage, application, these are the several examples we are using for processing or the for getting into the. Likewise, we are also having another example, which is the services which are used in the CICC, and they are providing the chemical informatic group. So here we are not providing the services not only for the what you say, that is uh, IT people or any others. We are taking into an account that is which are used by the uh, chemical informatic grid here. So that chemical informatic grid, what it is doing is it is maintaining multiple things to be processed by you, means by the people who are processing. If they want to take these things to be available, they need to take this service. I want to take the inheritance of the other grids. Then I want to take the registry and discovery. So my requirement will decide the service what I need. Okay. So here I want to take the JSR 168 based portal. Then I need to access the service which is the portal and portlets. The requirement will decide the service. The service won't decide the requirement. What you are wishing to process or what you are taking things to be done here will decide these things to be done. So if you want to take some conversions, to be done by you, then we need to take open babel service. What it is doing, it is making things to be available in many formats. So we don't know what are the chemical formats what we are using. We are making available things to be available with this chemical formats here. So if we are taking sheets into an account, if you see this example, in this example, I want to download this sheet. If I want to download this sheet, it is providing me several examples here. I'm not simply downloading this one. I am making this thing to be available with other. Okay. I don't want Excel format. I want only PDF format. It will be in the PDF format only. So what it is doing, it is taking these things to be available in multiple. So how it is making the things to be available means it will be converted innerly. Innerly the work will be done. So it is not making things to be available others or anything. So what it is doing, it is making things to be done by it only. So here it will be making inner converters and it is taking these thing to be available as the format only. So if you see, I have been means freeze it this panes because I need to take the attendance, I need to take care of the numbers and this thing. So likewise the format only has to be converted. So all these things will be has to be put into an account when we are dealing that one. So likewise what it is taking, it is making things to be available based on the requirements. Based on these requirements, it is making things available with us and also providing an environment to be chosen by you to, because you are the ultimately user. So that's why what it is taking these things to be processed here. And so that's about today's class, ma. So this is the end of this topic, that is a service oriented architecture, which has a huge topics involved in it, and also we has gone through many interesting topics and the new topics, also new words which has been used, and what are the specifications we are using for processing, and how we are using these services not only for the one working area, it also making available with the other areas also. That's about today's class. Thank you.